Alex, also known as Django's Junk on Instagram. Come check out my room and my collection with me.
Hello, YouTube. Welcome to another edition of Star Wars Collections and Displays. I'm Jack. With us always is Jim. We have a very special guest with us as well. He wants to share his Star Wars collection with us and all of you. His name is Alex. Alex, please take a moment, introduce yourself. Where are you from? Talk a little bit about your collection.
So my name's Alex. I'm from Queens, New York, but I live in Colorado. I go by Django's Junk on Instagram. I posted that on the story, so people could come check it out when it goes live. And I've been collecting for about 8 years, I think. Yeah, at this point since 2016, and it's kind of skyrocketed out of control. Can't lie. It started really small, like with I think 4 or 5 figures, and then it just kind of, I don't know, my interest peaked when I started seeing more and more of this stuff. I'm like, oh, I want the rest. It started with do you guys remember the Disney Elite collection at all? The ones at the Disney store? Like those
It,
die-cast ones?
oh, the die-cast ones. I remember there was
Yeah.
something like called Toy Box, I think, that they made for the Disney stores as well, which were
Yeah, I
more
had the
vinyl. But yeah,
die-cast
the
ones.
die-cast. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it started with those. My first one was the Death Trooper because I started collecting right after Rogue One came out, like I think right before New Year's. And then I had it on a shelf, and I was like, "That looks really cool," seeing it there. And so I kind of just kept buying more and more and more, and it just started looking really cool to me. So I'm like, "Okay, I like this."
Yeah, you can very easily get drawn into it. Too
Yeah.
easily, too easily.
It's
Oh
interesting. We've
yeah.
had so many collectors that have collected since really 1977, and now to have
Yeah.
a collector on that's only been collecting for 8 years. This is very interesting. A whole new perspective. This is going to be cool.
Yeah. It's really fun. I don't know. I get a good kick out of it. It's
Let's
almost
kind
like
of
an
then
addiction.
let's kind of go ahead and jump right into it. What is it that you're collecting? Action figures, vehicles, helmets, lightsabers, comics?
I try to dabble in a couple things. It's primarily action figures. I have a couple helmets. I used to have a few lightsabers. I ended up selling them just because I needed space and I didn't really use them that much. But I mean, I'll still fight love them forever. But yeah, it's all primarily action figures. I like statues as well. I'm trying to get a little bit into that, but the action figure stuff, that's what I really like.
And the statues are those hot toys, I think is what it's called.
I have a Hot Toys, yeah. No, the statues come from like different people. Like I have a actually my phone's on a McFarlane Batman statue right here, and I have another Batman statue in my bathroom. Because sometimes the collection gets too big, I can't put it all in my room, so I'm like, well, I gotta put it somewhere. So I put it in my bathroom. So like if I forget my phone, I'll just look at something while I'm in there. So I have a Michael Keaton statue in there.
And the scale size of the figures that you're collecting. From the pictures, I got the impression they were the Black Series, maybe 6 inches.
Yes, they are. They're all Black Series. I have a lot of Marvel Legends, Mafex's figure arts. They're all the 6 inch mark. I don't really do TVC stuff that much. I have a Django Fett TVC that I have in my store. Like I have my name on it, and like you know what? I don't really buy TVC, but I really like the way that Django Fett looks. Django Fett's my favorite character, so I'm like I need that.
TVC. What is TVC?
The vintage collection, it's the 3.75 inch figures. It's the smaller version of the Black Series stuff, basically.
And then is there a particular series, story, or movie that you follow?
I follow kind of everything, to be honest. Star Wars, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Superman's my favorite superhero, so I have stuff of him. I have more Spider-Man and Batman, but kind of I love Superman the most, so I have like a couple things for him. But I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with just the two I have.
And
Um,
being just past May the 4th, which everybody I'm sure has re-reviewed any one of their Star Wars favorites. Did you by chance watch any particular episode this last weekend?
um, I wanted to watch what was it, Tales of the Empire, but I didn't get to yet. I will eventually. I rewatched Empire for like the millionth time because that's my favorite Star Wars movie. I adore Empire Strikes Back so much. It's like probably my second favorite movie of all time, maybe first. I don't know.
And out of
Yeah,
curiosity, what is the first favorite of all time?
that's tough. I guess it had to be that up there, Army of Darkness.
I made a note here. I was going to ask you about that, and we'll come back to it in a moment. But
Yeah, yeah.
curious as to what movie that actually is.
It's horror kind of almost
Campaign.
comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost comedy movie. It's action horror.
I
It's
think it's
rated
a
R when it really shouldn't be.
Sam Raimi film. Is that correct?
Yep, Sam
Yeah.
Raimi.
Is it the guy with the chainsaw?
Hmm.
At
Bruce
what's
Campbell.
who? Who?
Uh, Bruce Campbell's the actor. He plays Ash Williams.
Ash
That's the
Williams.
name of the character. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. And he got a detachable chainsaw or something on one hand, if I remember right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a little shrine up there,
Yes,
Ash.
yes. I also made some notes, and that too was one of my questions because I recognized the chainsaw, but I couldn't remember what the character's name was. But we'll kind of come back to that in a moment. So,
Yeah.
looking at your collection, which appears in your background, my question is approximately how many figures have you collected so far?
Oh God. Maybe it's definitely triple digits. Probably like, um, God, I don't know. I want to say maybe like 400 at least. It might be more than that. I have some in storage too. So if we count that, probably 500.
Wow.
It gets pretty big. Yeah.
That's a mighty collection. Alex,
Thank
you
you.
talked about that you've only been collecting now for about 8 years or so.
Mm.
Why, there's so many different, pop culture IPs, different things out there. Why Star Wars? Why did you gravitate towards Star Wars? Say, I'm going to collect some Star Wars things.
It's the franchise I grew up with. Of course, there's other things I grew up with too, like superheroes and horror. But Star Wars was always the one I liked the most. I don't know. I like the army building. I like the characters, and so I'm like, I kind of want just all of it. So that's the one I picked the most. So I thought, well, let's start with Star Wars and then go with other things eventually. So I reached the point where I kind of had everything I wanted from Star Wars. So I thought, okay, well, maybe let's look at other stuff I like. So I said, oh, I love Spider-Man. Let's get some Spider-Man. Got all the Spider-Man stuff I wanted. Okay, how about Batman? I got all the Batman stuff I wanted. And then Superman, I got all the ones I wanted. So I kind of just went back to Star Wars because they started making more and more and more. And I was like, okay, well, this is never going to finish basically for me. And um, I even want to get into hot toys. I used to have a few of them. I sold a couple just because space, but there's a couple that they revealed. I'm like, okay, I need to have those. Like the Star Killer. I love Star Killer so much. I grew up playing those games, so I thought I need that. And that's the same thing with a couple other IPs where it's like, I'll get Star Killer. They're making a black suit Spider-Man from the third movie. I need that. And then they're making a Shadow Trooper. I need that. And so it always just goes back to Star Wars. Like I'll get one thing from a IP, I'll love it, and then I'll go back to Star Wars because they make more. So it's kind of like that for me.
I gotcha. A very detailed answer. I appreciate that. Let me go
Mm.
back to, you said that you grew up with Star Wars. What do you mean
Yeah.
you grew up with Star Wars? What specifically did you grow up with? What were you watching when you were growing up?
So my introduction to Star Wars is not like most people where they watch the movies. Um, this was the way I got introduced to it was back in 2007. Me and my dad, we stayed up and we watched cartoons. We didn't speak English at the time because we're Spanish speakers. And we'd watch like adult cartoons at night. We didn't know they were for adults. We didn't speak English, so we just saw cartoons, watch it. So back in 2007, when Robot Chicken did the Star Wars specials, that's how I got introduced to it because the title came up and I was like, "Hey Dad, what's Star Wars?" So he bought me the special editions on DVD and he bought me Lego Star Wars for the PS2 and I played those and I watched the movies from that. So it wasn't like I was introduced via movies. It was a parody that's not really for kids because I was a young kid at the time.
Sure. It was like Nick at Night type stuff. I remember those.
Yeah, I was like adult
That's
film.
Yeah, Adult Swim. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah. Mm.
It's amazing that that's what kind of hooked you. It wasn't the movies where so many of us got hooked from the original movies, but almost a
Yeah,
parody of it. That's what brought you in, and then obviously the world just kind of expanded from there.
exactly. Yeah. I don't know, and I kind of loved it ever since for a while, my favorite was New Hope because I thought I was like, this is the greatest movie of all time, even though it wasn't production wise. because I go to film school, so I kind of study this movie a lot. And I'm like, oh boy, this is such a troubled production. So, and then I was like, oh well, let's watch the rest of the movies because I watched the originals first before the prequels. Most young people like me, they watched prequels first and then the originals.
Right.
But it was the opposite for me. I grew up with the originals, so um I've always loved them. That's my preferred era and stuff.
Interesting question, a comment and a question. Again, because of the fact that it was May the 4th last weekend, everybody watched their favorite movie. I happened to be watching some of the makings of and watched it. And you just made a comment, and if I can remember exactly what it was you said, troubled production. What did you think was troubling about it? And having said that, before you answer the question, according to the making of Star Wars, had George Lucas's wife not participated in the editing, it would have been a much worse film. But with her coming on and doing a lot of the editing, that improved not only the actual flow of the movie, but the story content or storyline itself. What is it that you see as a film school student that looked troubling?
Well, his wife definitely saved the movie. I can tell you that. It was from what I heard, it went over budget. The actors kind of got tired. When they filmed in London, because I think they one of like because George Lucas has a stage there, and they filmed with the crew in London there. They said that they got tired and they didn't want to do it anymore. Like it was when they came to the Death Star sequences and stuff like that. Not like the exterior, but the interior. They just got tired. They didn't want to do it anymore. And even George looked really like miserable. So, and some of the actors had to like make him laugh because he just like was like, oh, I kind of want to just get this over with. But yeah, it was just so much wrong with it. And also, when they filmed in Tunisia, it was really hot and everybody got tired from that. It was just so many problems with it. But I mean, it came out great anyways. So
So it's not a production. Production's the wrong word. Not technical film editing content issues. It was more practical
well,
as well
it
as
kind of
people issues.
it also kind of was because when they did the miniature stuff, like the filming of the ships and stuff, they didn't get much filmed because of some of the issues. Like I think some of the stuff was breaking and they didn't get too much footage when they were doing the like small ship stuff at ILM. It was also kind of that because they were filming the ILM stuff and also the rest of the movie kind of at the same time in different places, and so communication was hard. So ILM didn't get much done, and the other team was also struggling to get stuff done.
Right. Yeah, I
And
agree
in
with you,
fact,
Jim. It sounds like Alex is talking more just like the production was flawed, the actual producing of the movie. But, from a technical side of things, except for maybe some of the miniatures which got fixed in the special editions, definitely the editing saved the movie. I mean, we've all heard that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also
Yeah.
George Lucas struggled finding a studio to finance it.
Right, right.
Like nobody wanted to, and then even 20th Century Fox, they kind of didn't want to either, but they saw American Graffiti and said, okay, this guy has talent, so let's do it.
Yeah.
well, and to add to that making of, and I've watched many other makings of other things, including Lord of the Rings and Guardians of the Galaxy, and I've even made this comment to Jack before. It just seems like the studios have their head up there, what, so far, whether it be ego or what, that they just can't see what the potential is. Jack and I have had this conversation where Hollywood these days, instead of putting out art, they're putting out goo, just stuff
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense. I happened to watch another movie last night, which I can't even remember what the name of it was. Jesse Eisenberg and Jason Segel were in there. And at the end of the movie, I just kind of thought, what was this movie all about? Was it just to see how much of an asshole that Jesse could be, or to watch Jason Segel be an actor? It didn't make any real purpose to me. But I'm not here to criticize those movies. Coming back to Star Wars, the irony to the studios who didn't want to deal with it or weren't interested is it's now one of the, in fact, if not the highest grossing films or collective films in the entire world. And these guys must just sit back and go, boy, did we make a wrong decision. And then to kind of finalize and address my one comment about your production issues, it just seems as though it was so groundbreaking in a lot of the stuff that they were doing that they thought they could just pull it out of their back pocket and make it work. But it was all a learning experience. And so once they kind of got the ball rolling and began to get an understanding as to how to accomplish certain things, it then became easier. So it's interesting how all of that came about. Let me move on and talk about your motivation for collecting. Is it a kinship, I think would be the word, meaning you grew up, as you said, watching these cartoons and took a liking to it, and so you began to collect. Was it just to have that enjoyment, that memory around you, or did you collect for investment purposes, or maybe it was just pure enjoyment?
It's pure enjoyment. It's also like, what's it called? Like where I kind of just want to, like a completionist type of thing. Like I have one, I might as well get the rest. And then sometimes I'll look at a character and go, oh, he looks so cool. I want him as a figure. So it's kind of a lot of things like that. There's also sometimes fear of missing out. Not always, but sometimes, like with that Revenge of the Sith Palpatine that got revealed, I'm like, I really want that. I really need that. And also it makes life fun for me. Like I get a really good like rush from like going store to store and stuff, going to find these things. Um, Going to conventions. My friends, a lot of them are collectors too, like my closest friends, and so we all go together. We just go hunting and stuff, and it's just really fun. A lot of memories and stuff like that. And also, I just really like them. They're fun. They're cool to pose. It's cool to take pictures of. They look pretty accurate to their source materials. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of want that.
In regards to, and I'll use the word, the quality of what it is you're buying, my assumption is based on what I've heard so far is you're buying brand new, as opposed to, let's say, going on to eBay or Facebook Marketplace and buying used. Is there a reason, or is there a desire to have one versus the other?
So I actually do buy used and new. I've gotten really, really lucky with used. Like I have a lot of Black Series figures that are worth up to 50 and more, and I got them for really cheap. Like I bought a Bosk figure at the time. He was worth like $50 and I got him for 15. So I was like, oh yeah, I had, that's a great steal. Um, but I buy just kind of new and used because I kind of just, it depends on what is cheap, what's not to me. Or, it's like if it's just released, then yeah, I'll buy a brand new, better that than to just wait a little longer or something. And also sometimes there's been a couple of times where I'll say, oh, I'll buy that eventually, and then it just goes up. So I'm like, oh, great. So I'm like, well, might as well just kind of buy everything as soon as it comes out, and if I can find something for loose and cheap, I'll snag that too, if it's worth it.
I have always found, and this applies to many things, that if there's something that I really want, and for whatever reason I decide not to get it now, or maybe I got beat out in the bidding process, or I remember one time I bought some Batman and Robin stuff, and before the guy could ship it, he said his grandchildren took it out and started playing with it and broke it.
Oh.
And it's like, oh no. But what I have always found, and maybe this is just a little bit of the positive thing that comes out of me every once in a while, is second time around is usually a better deal.
Yeah, you sometimes usually. I mean, I got kind of unlucky recently, like just a couple of days ago. Actually, I'm right here. If I can just show them real quick. Um, I bought this Ghostface figure off of Best Buy. I was so excited for it because I thought the pictures make him look fantastic, and I love horror and stuff. When I bought the figure, the head like peg was really, really loose. Like I could just shake it. It was like a bubble head. I was so upset by it. I was like, oh, come on. I spent like $40. Like this is a brand new figure, so I just fixed it. I put toilet paper in the neck to kind of stiffen the joint. But I was still upset by it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just fix it. I'm not gonna go return it. I don't want to annoy the best by customers because I work retail. I know how annoying it is, so I'll just fix it. I mean, there's been a couple times where I've gotten unlucky with, figures where something's wrong. Like, yeah, it's annoying. I have a couple Black Series figures where they're like joints are really stiff. If I try to move them, it'll like have like stress marks and stuff, and I don't want to break it or anything.
I had bought I went through a little phase with Lone Ranger action figures, and
They're
I
nice.
had bought a prairie wagon,
Mhm.
and I could see, the guy clearly pointed out certain things that were wrong with it, but the price was right, and I bought it, and it arrived, and he had forgotten to put one of the side rails or the rear rail in there or something, and
Uh,
kind of pushed him for it. And he dragged his feet in answering the question, dragged his feet on looking for it. And I waited well over a week for him to get it taken
yeah,
care of. And at the end of the week, he obviously got frustrated and didn't handle it well, and he kind of got a little nasty. Well, the nice thing about eBay is twofold. One, as a buyer, you're kind of protected in your purchase, and so ultimately ended up getting refunded for the whole thing. And number
nice.
two, you get a chance to badmouth them on eBay. And so it made me feel better. Not only did I get my money back, but the guy was a bit of a dick, and he kind of got shamed. And then
Yeah.
more ironically, about 4 weeks later, I get an email from him. He says, "Jim, I found the part. Do you want it?" And I thought
Did
to
you take it?
myself, huh?
Did you take it?
No,
Wow.
didn't take it for two reasons. One, I had already taken the money I'd gotten refunded and bought a whole new other prairie wagon that came with the part and something else. And two, I thought if I respond to him and say yes, and that puts him in a position for him to ask me to remove the negative comment. And I thought,
No.
too late, buddy. You already blew it. And I don't need the part. So you're going to end up with a bad mark on Facebook or bad feedback. And it just, if you're going to not handle things properly, then you're going to have to deal with the consequences. So even sometimes negative works out to your benefit.
Yeah. So I actually kind of have like a funny story too, like that. So hang on, I have it right here. So I just got this guy yesterday. This is a first appearance Batman.
Very cool. I
Yeah,
like the cape.
yeah, they actually gave it a wire cape. It looks fine on, on whatever right now, but
Was it
yeah,
brand new when you bought it?
yes. I
Uh-oh.
just got it yesterday.
Oh,
I'm gonna just
bummer.
have to super glue it, but still, I'm a little upset by it. But it's
Wow.
not the first time I've been dealt the wrong hand from McFarlane. I had this Batman Two-Face figure. I bought it last year, and I was kind of on a McFarlane hate train for a while. I thought, oh, his figures suck. I don't like his figures. And my friend Eddie was like, you got to give him another try. Just, you're being too harsh on them. I'm like, fine, I'll give him another try. So I bought that figure, got home, unboxed it, took pictures of it and stuff. I'm like, okay. And I told my friend I told my friend Eddie, I was like, okay, maybe I'm a little too harsh on McFarlane. This one's not bad. And then I turned the head, kept turning the head, and it broke. The peg was in the neck, and the other peg was in the torso. And I sent my friend a picture of it. I was like, never mind. McFarlane sucks. McFarlane sucks. I was like, I was wrong. I deserve to be mean. His figures suck, and he lost it. He started dying.
So my next question, which you kind of already answered, and that is the importance of the items collected, meaning is it brand new or is it used? So, sometimes you get the positive spin on the new version and the negative on the used, and sometimes you get the positive spin on the used and the negative on the new. So it sometimes can be a bit of a dice throw, but as consumers to a minor degree, if you want to put the time or effort into it, there is a little bit of recourse, or at the very least, maybe some satisfaction.
Yeah. It happens both times where I'll buy a new figure and there's something wrong with it, or I'll buy a used one and there's also something wrong with it. And then there's, of course, I'll buy a used figure and it's like brand new, buy a new one, it works fine. A few weeks ago, this one was really like luck, kind of. It was so funny. I bought on Mercari. It was like this guy was selling like three import Spider-Man figures, and they're worth like $100 each. That would have been easy, like $300 right there. But he was selling it for $1. Um, and I was like, I'll buy it. So I bought it and I sent my friend a picture of it. I was like, I think I just got lucky. He's like, what do you mean you think? Like you got lucky. But then he canceled it because he said, oh, you weren't supposed to buy that. I'm like, okay, whatever.
He realized
But
he had set it up for the wrong price.
yeah, yeah. And then like 5 days later I get like a notification saying, hey, your Mercari package arrived. I was like, I didn't what? I thought the guy canceled it. I didn't order anything else. And then I opened it and it was a Japanese import Spider-Man figure, brand new, never been touched or anything. I'm like, wow. So I basically got it for free because he canceled it. So he got the money back and he just sent it to me anyways. I'm like, well, cool.
That's amazing. That's
Good for
awesome.
And
you.
it happens kind of often too where I get lucky with figures. Like a couple years ago, there was the Black Series Cat Bane. He was worth like 40, 50. It was his mom who was selling her son's like toy collection. She didn't know what it was worth, so I she sold it online for $10 and I was the buyer.
Perfect. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
definitely deals out there for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Alex, looking over your collection, I don't see a whole lot of boxed figures or mock figures, they might call them. A lot of loose figures. Why loose? Why not keep them in the boxes and kind of enjoy that box art that's on the boxes as well?
So I actually do keep some of the boxes because I enjoy the art. Like actually right behind me over there is murals of Black Series art. I have the entire Bad Batch mural there because I just thought they looked really nice on the art. But I like unboxing them because I like the satisfaction of posing them. And I don't know. Sometimes I see people's posing online and I don't really like the way they pose it. So I'm like, well, I would do it like this, and so I'll buy it and do that. I don't judge them for it. I'm just like, I don't like it. So I just buy and just do it myself. You could pose it however you want. Um, but I don't know. I don't really like keeping them in box sometimes just because like I'm like set them free. Like they look so much better out the box. They're supposed to be played with, but it's up to whoever. I have a Power of the Force Palpatine boxed in there somewhere. It's deep in there, but yeah, that's
He's
pretty
still
much
a
about
mock.
it. Yeah,
Interesting.
I think I have another boxed figure. I don't know what it is. It might be like a special edition or something. I don't know. The only time I ever keep anything in boxes if it's like because McFarlane does chase figures too, which I don't like those. I think they're annoying. But those are worth a lot, so I keep them in the box, and I keep Funko Pops in box as well. I don't have a lot. I have an Ash Williams bloody pop up there somewhere, and I keep that one in the box because it's a rare variant.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Keep it in the box, kind of keep it more protected. If you do want to resell it, maybe the value is a little higher at that point.
yeah.
Gotcha. You talked about the boxed mural with the Bad Batch. We'll put that up on the screen in the lower left corner there. But I did see that you have a scene with all the Bad Batch that you've kind of, Tech and
Yeah, yeah,
Echo, Hunter, Wrecker. I think
yeah. I got the
even
whole crew.
Cross Eyes in there.
Crosshair.
Crosshair, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Omega.
Hmm.
Why those six? Why did you decide, okay, I'm going to buy these six figures, take them out, and pose the Bad Batch?
So a couple years ago, when the Bad Batch first aired, um, I took a break from collecting for a while. I kind of, or Star Wars, I should say. I started collecting horror more at the time. And like January of 2021, they announced Hunter, and it had been a while since I'd seen Clone Wars season 7. I think I watched it when it first came out, but I never really revisited it that much. And when I saw the figure, I was like, oh my God, I never realized this helmet looks so cool. I kind of want that. And I bought him and Crosshair at the same time. I had a blast finding those figures. Me and my friend Eric, we would go to store finding those Bad Batch figures. It was such a great time. Um, and I love the characters. I was there when it first aired on May 4th. I actually had COVID at the time, so I was like, you know what, this is great for me. And I was just about to go to Disney World too, like a couple weeks later. So it was a kind of perfect timing for me. It was just great at the time, and I love the characters, and I was following every single episode. When each character was revealed in their figure form, I immediately just bought each one because I thought I can't miss this. I can't miss on this. I love these characters so much. I think they're great. So that's why I did that. And then I bought a little Camino set. I originally bought it for like Jango Fett, but I thought, you know what, it makes more sense to put the Bad Batch there, so I put them there instead.
That's where they were born, is on
Yeah,
Camino. That's
exactly.
very
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah.
And when you say the Camino set, what figures were they? Because what comes to mind for me was those tall, leggy creatures that move so gracefully.
Not those. It was just like a little cardboard diorama set thing. I bought it on Etsy. And I originally had like just different clones on there, but I thought it'd make more sense to put the Bad Batch there instead, so I put them there.
Interesting.
And you mentioned Disney World. Did you get there?
Yes, I went twice in 2021. I went in March and I went in May, right after Bad Batch. At the time when I went in May, they started putting up more figures for Bad Batch. So when me and my friend Eric got to Disney World, we each went to the Star Wars store after we got off Star Tours, and we just bought like four of the what's it called? It's the black gray clone trooper with the green visor. I forgot what it's called. I think it's
Like a Death
it
Trooper?
was no, not the Death Trooper. It's like they're wearing the clone armor. It's just black.
Okay.
The ones who aren't actually clones. I forgot
Hmm.
their names. I remember one of them has like a flamethrower, but yeah, we bought like four of those because we remember that there was four of them in the episode, and so we bought the four, and then we also got the Imperial Crosshair to go with it, and I don't know, just I like the soldiers a lot, so I just kind of said I'll buy them all.
And so, since you made it to Disney World and you obviously went into the Star Wars section, what did you think of the giant Millennium Falcon?
Oh, it's great. I went there. I went to Galaxy's Edge back in 2019 when it opened at Disneyland. It was so much fun. It was really great. It was packed always, so barely got to do anything, but it was still fun. I mean, I had blue milk and green milk for the first time last year, actually. Um, and it was just a blast. It really felt like being there. I don't know. It was really great.
Let me follow up really quick. So you've been to Galaxy's Edge and in Anaheim and Disneyland, and you've also been to Galaxy's Edge at Disney World, like in Orlando.
Yeah,
Compare the two. Did one do it better?
both are very, very similar. I will say, I think I like the one in Hollywood Studios and Disney World a little more. It just feels more spacious. It's because that's just the whole thing of Disney World. It's big, you know. So I liked that a little more. And also, I really like Star Tours at Disney World a little more. Like the whole Endor setting is really nice. And also, it kind of just connects to Galaxy's Edge. So you come out of Star Tours, you just turn left and go straight into Galaxy's Edge. So it's just kind of perfect for me. I like that a little
Right.
more.
Yeah, in Disneyland, they're kind of opposite ends. Star
Yeah.
Tours is over like in Tomorrowland.
Yeah. And then you got to
Galaxy's
walk
Edge
all
way
the way
up. Yeah.
across to Galaxy's Edge. You got to pass by like the older lands and stuff. I went alone last year in June. It was so much fun. Not having to have family and friends just kind of go, I'm tired. I want to rest.
Right.
Like this
I'm
is
just
my
gonna
rest.
go.
Being
Yeah.
here, being
Right.
at Disney is my rest right now. Like let me
Right. You
have
can
fun.
sleep
So
later.
yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it was so much fun. I didn't. I wish I could buy a lightsaber again, but I don't really have space for that much, and like I don't know. I don't really mess with it that much. The only one I'd want is Dooku saber. I used to have Luke from Jedi and Obi-Wan's from Attack of the Clones. I bought both of those at Disney World when I went last time. But I ended up just selling them because I thought, you know what, I don't really have a use for them that much. They look cool, but that's it.
That curved Dooku. I mean, that's a favorite for sure.
Yeah, that's my favorite lightsaber is Dooku. That's the one I wanted when I first got to Disney World, but of course they were sold out.
Okay. A lot of people's favorites.
I will ask you a few questions about some of your collection that I made notes on, and you seem to have a number of, is it Mandalorians or Boba Fett's?
Boba Fett's. Yeah. I have a lot of Boba Fett, yeah.
I saw some
But
of
he's
those Boba Fett's. It looks like you had like the all white concept one. Is that what that one
yeah.
is?
I have all of them. I have the all black one, but that one because they didn't make an all black version of it, but that one I my friend got me a Boba Fett model kit for Christmas, and I never built it because I thought, well, I have like every single Boba Fett. I don't really need another Empire one. So I thought, well, you know what? How about I just make that the all black one? So I went to a hobby store and I bought like a gloss paint and the matte paint, and I just glossed the armor pieces and I matted all the um cloths on the figure.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, it saved me from having to spend like 60, $70 on that exclusive one. I just spent like $2 on paint. So there we go. Now I got every single Boba Fett. Like droids, concept, the black one, Jedi, Mandalorian, all of them. But he's not my
Animated.
favorite character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
animated too. Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
saw that black one. I was going to ask about that, but so that's a custom black one that you did. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
And then you, as you mentioned, you like stormtroopers, and I noticed a number of stormtrooper figures there as
Yep.
well.
Yeah, I got too many.
Never too many
I
stormtroopers.
huh?
Never too many stormtroopers.
You right. Yeah, I love stormtroopers. My favorite type of trooper is the shadow trooper. I got a custom one I think like a month ago. It's like somewhere over there. I can grab it a
Yeah,
little
we'll
bit or
put it
something.
up on the
But
screen over here.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a custom one and I was because he said he was making shadow troopers. I'm like, oh yeah, let me buy some. And then when I was in California in June last year, somebody was selling an SH Figure Arts Shadow Stormtrooper, which is like the Japanese imports one. And usually that goes for like about $80, but he was selling it for 45. I was like, yeah, give me that. I love army building. I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's so much fun from like different companies too, like Black Series, the Japanese imports. It's really great just kind of having these different troopers together because it kind of makes sense lore wise. One might be taller than the other, one might be shorter than the other, one might be skinnier than the other. It just makes sense.
And not just the stormtroopers, but it looked like you had quite a few of the clone troopers as well. Yes.
I do. I have a lot of them. And this one right here is my favorite one at the moment. This is the Phase One Clone Lieutenant. It's so great. I don't know. I'm a sucker for Phase One clones. I have a lot of Phase Ones. But I also do buy Phase Two as well because I've noticed clones go up in price really, really, really often. So I thought, you know what? I'll buy each one and kind of build an army with it. They didn't start like that. It just started, oh, I just like this clone, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of spiraled after that.
So, in addition to the action figures that you have, I've seen no fighters or cruisers or anything like that. No
I got them in Lego.
ships,
But like,
different ships and such.
yeah, I have them in Lego in my closet. But
Okay.
like, other than that, I don't really have the models that much. I thought about there was this cool AT-AT at where I work. It's like a remote one. But I ended up not buying it because I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going to put it. That's why I don't buy a lot of the cruisers because I'm like, I don't want to have to buy another shelf and put it there. It just, I don't know. It's all space type of thing.
And the
Ironic
AT-ATs
too.
are big too.
Yeah. Mhm. And
Um,
we have like two snow speeders at the store too. So I'm like, I could just buy that and the two snow speeders, and I'll be like the happiest guy in the world. It'll be like I'm 5 years old again.
Just no space.
um, and
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you're not into lightsabers or anything like that, but I do see a helmet there in the back, a green helmet. Yes.
Yeah, that's Master Chief from Halo, and then I have the Boba Fett next to it. Um, I do like helmets. I have a Shadow Trooper helmet on pre-order right now, and I'm fingers crossed waiting for one day Hasbro to make Jango Fett because I'll buy two,
Hmm.
just one to have and the other to wear. Just while I'm around the house because I'm Jango Fett. Uh, but
And
yeah, it's just. Oh, go ahead.
we've talked before with a few other people about helmets, and I believe the general consensus is the Black Series helmet is the better choice. A number of the other brands are maybe too small where you can't actually put it on, or it's not built as well. Any
Mhm.
thoughts or comments there?
They're not wrong. I mean, the I will say the Black Series helmets sometimes are a little too big. Like the Boba Fett one is kind of like a legit bucket, but they have straps inside so that you can tighten it. So yeah, it'll look big, but it'll stay in place. I'm not sure how it is for Stormtrooper helmets. I think those ones might fit just fine. But yeah, the Boba Fett one is kind of big. The Master Chief one kind of fits me perfectly, and it has straps, so I don't really need to use it. But yeah, they're not wrong. It's some other companies are a little too big, but damn, they look good.
And you mentioned at the beginning you've been collecting for what, about 8 years now?
Yeah, yeah, 8 years. It's gotten crazy.
And your collection, how is it displayed? We can see it there in the back. Looks like bookshelves of sorts.
Yeah, it's bookshelves. Right here is my like gaming setup where I play games, but that's also where I keep a lot of my higher priced and favorite items. Like I got two Phase 1 clone lieutenants there, and I have the one right here on my left. But yeah, that one's mostly for like my favorites and high import ones, like just ones that are worth a lot of money. No one can touch it.
And that collection consumes 3 of the 4 walls in the room.
Yeah, I still have some space, I guess, but maybe I should save money.
And speaking of saving money, the bookshelves and such, where did you acquire them, or where did they come from, and what are they made out of?
So most of them are made out of wood. This I think I don't know if you can see this one, but where I have like most of my collection, with the Bad Batch display at the top, that one was from Amazon. That's wood. The two right behind me, the white and black, those are wood. The white one I got from Amazon. The black one my sister gave to me, and then the big cage one my mom gave to me, or it might have been my dad. I don't remember. I don't remember where they got them though. I think the black one was also Amazon. The white one I bought myself. And that big one is where I put my clothes in, but that's I think my mom or someone bought it from me a while ago.
And aside from what is sitting in the bookcases or on those shelves, the only things that are what I'll call pinned to the wall will be the posters that I see back there.
Yeah, the poster's there. I got a couple other ones. I have like a Pirates of the Caribbean one right here up top in front of me, Spider-Man one, and yeah, the Army of Darkness one too back there.
And nothing hanging from the ceiling.
They used to be. I used to have a Venom in the ceiling, and then I had a I think I had a Jump Trooper in the ceiling as well. Um, but I took them down because they just kept randomly falling, and sometimes at night they'd fall, and I'm like, what was that? So I'm like, you know what, better just to like I'll just get a flight stand and have them in a flying position, but not on the ceiling. They used to be though.
Yeah, I have a number of a huge Millennium Falcon, which is like 30 inches, and I think I've got it fairly well secured up there with fishing line and such. But there's all the other TIE fighters and Y fighters and X wings.
Yeah.
That is one of my fears, that one of these days I'm gonna hear this kabang, crash, 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 and not only
Hmm.
did it fall, but it broke.
Yeah, I used to have a Batman with like his cape was is really big, and so I had him just like this with the cape up and stuff, and it scared people to come in because they think it was a real bat.
Wow.
So I eventually
um,
took that.
any of your display back there have any particular kind of lighting to emphasize or enhance it?
Uh, I thought about doing that. My TV does, so you can kind of see a little more. Um, but it would take a lot of time, and I have to take everything down. Right now, I could probably do it if I just go to the store and buy some, but yeah, it just takes some time. But I'll probably eventually end up doing it.
And your display, how is the stuff arranged? Is it by age, by episode, by character, by scene? Is there any logic to how it's displayed?
Yeah, it's by era. So I have Clone Wars up top, original trilogy sequels. And then sometimes if the display gets too crowded, I'll do a Clone Wars, Jabba the Hutt, like Jabba's Palace type of thing with Return of Jedi and Bounty Hunters, and in the very bottom would be a Book of Boba Fett, since it's right after that. And my bookshelf back there, the black one, that one used to be more era specific, but then it got crazy, so I did Empire up top into two shelves spaces. I did Clone Wars villains, Mandalorian, and then sequels. So it kind of, curves a little bit.
And is your display or your room for displaying items expandable, or have you reached your capacity?
It's probably expandable, but I haven't really thought much about it. I kind of like the way it is. But yeah, I probably am going to eventually expand it much more with just more different stuff. So yeah.
Shoehorned in somewhere in those shelves, I also saw there was an Indiana Jones shelf.
Yeah.
Talk to me
Yeah.
about that for a second. What happened with that one?
So it's actually the white one back there. So some of the shelves will be just kind of for certain IPs and stuff. So I have like Knights of the Republic, Indiana Jones, and then very bottom be like Marvel. I don't have a lot of Marvel. It's just Spider-Man, but that has his own thing back there. Um, So I love Indiana Jones. I think he's really, really cool. I love Temple of Doom. So I was like, when they announced the Indiana Jones figures, I said, "Oh yeah, I definitely want some of them." So I bought a few of the ones I liked. And then ever since I was kind of okay with the ones that I got. I have Short Round Indy and Indy from Raiders. But they made this one Indiana Jones where it's like him with the little pedestal with the idol. It's like a Disney store exclusive or something, and I've been eyeing that one for a while. It'll be like my third Raiders indie, but I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I have a lot of duplicates sometimes because I really like the figure so much.
That's great. And are those 6 inch or are those 375?
Those are a 6 inch too.
Okay, so it's a 6 inch short round.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's about the same size as like Omega and the new Phantom Menace Anakin.
I see. And
Or,
where
I
are you
mean, little
buying
bit
a
price.
lot of these things? You mentioned Macari earlier. You mentioned Etsy, Amazon. Where do you find the best deals? How do you do your hunt?
So it is from a lot of places. Mercari is usually for like loose or high-end figures because you can lowball them and they'll accept them sometimes and stuff. That sounds really bad. But, like not like lowball, like oh yeah, like more just like
But you
hey,
can
can
get
you
it a
give
little
me
cheaper there. Yeah.
exactly yeah. Amazon's usually for new release stuff. Like as soon as something goes up on pre-order, I'll buy it there. Um, Sometimes there's collectible stores where I live. And so me and my friends, we go like every weekend and we'll go to certain ones. Some price them really high. So we kind of skip on those. But others will price them retail. We'll buy them from there. And I work at a game store. So a majority of them come in and I'm usually the one who has it on order. About 99% of the time at where I work. Like I have 4 Phase 1 clone troopers on the way, which those are mine. Um, and I work there and I get them with really heavily discounted because of employee discount and stuff like that. So I buy them from there. Like all my Indiana Jones came from my job
That's why I can never see them on the shelf. I got you.
because I'm the one buying them. Yeah. I bought I have the Book of Boba Fett Mandalorian, but then I also bought the Mandalorian season 3 version, which is like the Book of Boba Fett one, but worse because he has a plastic cape instead and he doesn't have a jetpack. And when I got home, I was like, why did I buy this? But I'm
Same
like, you
look,
know what?
same paint, but less stuff. And yeah, I don't like when they put the vinyl cape on. I'd rather have the cloth cape.
Yeah, I thought, why did I buy this? I mean, I didn't pay much for it because
But
I get
still,
myself really discounted. But I'm like, you know what? It looks better than the first release Mandalorian, so it's too late now. I already opened it.
So you had mentioned some retail stores, what I'll call toy stores. Our most
Mhm.
recent interview just last month was a fellow out of the Philippines. And it seemed like they dedicated an entire mall, and every store in the mall was peddling some type of action figure or movie collectibles of sorts. The local toy stores that you're going into, are they prominent? Is there a lot of them or just a few of them scattered around?
There's a lot of them, and there's a lot coming, like Rising and stuff like that. Wow, that mall sounds cool. Keep me away from there because I'm gonna go broke by the end of that.
It's
Um,
the preceding video, and you can kind of skim through it. There's a big, long section, and he walks through that mall, and I mean, it is packed. I mean, the windows and the doorways packed
wow.
with action figure stuff.
Yeah, there's a few here. They're also packed. Um, there's a consignment shop called The Box here in Colorado, and that's where I get a lot of my loose figures because the vendors will sell them for cheap and stuff. They know what their stuff is worth, but sometimes they'll do it as like a oh come first serve type of thing, and I'm usually the first one there.
Lost
Um,
leaders or something just to get you into the store.
yeah, yeah.
Now, I did not hear you say anything about Amazon or eBay.
Uh, so well, I do buy on Amazon. Amazon's usually like new releases type of things, or if I want to buy tomorrow or something or tonight, I'll buy it on Amazon. That one's usually like if it's like that's like 50% of where I buy my stuff. eBay, not so much. I usually buy my loose stuff on there. Um, but it's occasionally for eBay. I prefer Mercari more.
interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
very, very big on eBay. I buy stuff multiple times a week. Bad habit, bad habit, bad eBay, bad eBay.
There's actually a
Bad
store.
Jim, bad Jim.
There's actually a store in Colorado called Bad Habit Collectibles, which I go to a lot. Yeah, I have a couple pre-orders there for a few figures too. So I'm like, yeah, it's store lives up to its name, Bad Habit.
Where in Colorado are you exactly?
Denver.
Oh, okay, in Denver. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask some questions about what I'll call non-Star Wars stuff that I've seen in your collection so far. You have mentioned both the Spider-Man as well as the Superman. There's a lot of Spider-Man. I didn't see a bunch of Superman there.
Yeah, I only have two Superman, and I'm okay with. Because I mean, Superman, the only two suits I want is the black and the regular suit, so I'm okay with that. With Spider-Man, he's got so many, and it's like each one is really cool and really different. So I'm like, yeah, I'll buy each one. I think I have a couple duplicates. Oh no, I don't. Okay, but I have like a giant Spider-Verse shelf because I just love Spider-Man a lot. And it's kind of the same with Batman. I have like each Batman from each movie and stuff like that.
Any of the original
Yeah.
classic Batman and Robin in there? I didn't see that.
I have the George Clooney Batman
Okay.
and Robin.
No, the original.
Oh, the Adam West ones?
Adam West.
I don't have Adam West yet because they haven't made an Adam West in that scale.
Uh-huh.
So when they make him, I will definitely buy him. But I have like all the movie ones. My favorite is Val Kilmer. I love Batman Forever. I have him just up there looking all heroic and stuff.
Awesome.
I thought the most recent Batman was just awesome. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I just liked the way he portrayed himself. He keeps getting grumpier and darker and dismally, but at the same time, I just really liked that whole movie. In particular, Penguin. Penguin blew me away.
Yeah,
Colin Farrell, is that who it is?
Yeah, Colin Farrell.
Yeah. I kept watching it, not knowing who that was, and I'm going, gosh, that guy seems familiar.
I know him.
And I finally ended up going online and looking it up. I went, Colin Farrell, wow, what a transformation.
Yeah.
Apparently they're going to be making a little spin-off with just Penguin and Colin.
Yes, yeah, they are.
Pretty exciting. There were two other ones that I noted, one of which I knew would grab Jack's attention, and we've already mentioned it, and that's Indiana Jones, which I thought was really quite nice. The other one that really stood out to me, and I only saw one of them, but he's my favorite as far as aside from the Star Wars stuff, and that was Elvis.
Yeah, right here.
Oh,
I knew he was gonna come up, and I actually have another thing. Hang on, let me put this on.
Really?
I got my Elvis Presley right here. These are my. So I am basically obsessed with Elvis. I love him so much. I love his music. That's kind of all I listen to. Oh, that's all I listen to basically. Well, I listen to other music too, like rap and stuff, but Elvis, I have an entire playlist just for him, and Sinatra. I love Frank Sinatra too. I love both of them. I don't know, it's just something about him. It's just so cool. Really like him. I did a short film in school with my friends, where I wrote it too. It was this guy's about to go on a date with this girl, and he's like really nervous, and so he talks to Elvis of what he should say, and I played Elvis in it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you. But yeah, I love him so much.
And then coming back to the poster on the wall there, Ash Williams, the chainsaw guy, I did see a few figures of him as well.
Yeah. What's also interesting, Bruce Campbell, who played Ash Williams, also played Elvis in a movie once too.
Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of a random fact.
And then there was a handful of figures from Venom in there.
Yeah, I have a lot of Spider-Man villains. I have a lot of the symbiotes, and I also have a lot of his what they call rogues gallery, so his iconic villains that aren't Venom, like Green Goblin,
I noticed
Doc, Vulture. Yeah, all that pretty much. I'm missing a couple like Rhino and Kingpin, but they're too big and like they won't fit in that display, so I got to buy another shelf. But yeah, I have a lot of his iconic villains.
And then there were two other figures that I noted in there. One of them, I'm not sure what movie and such, but it looked like a giant bear that was growling.
Giant bear?
Had his mouth open.
Giant bear, huh? I don't know which one actually that when you're
I'll post
talking
it. I'll post it in the video frame to the side here. But it was a like a giant grizzly bear.
grizzly bear. I'm looking. I don't know which one. I mean, maybe King Kong. I have King Kong. I don't know if that's the one who looked like the bear.
Maybe that's
Maybe
who
it's
it
a King
was.
Kong. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And then there was one other one that I noticed, and that was Arnold from the
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah. He's part of the horror stuff. I got a lot of horror stuff. Like I got old Universal monsters and new ones too.
So I'm assuming you live at home, mom and dad. Who is the collector? You mentioned your dad's kind of maybe helpful in encouraging or inspiring you. Is he a collector as well, or are you the only collector?
Uh, well, he's the one who got me into the movie stuff. Um, I guess my sister's kind of a collector a little bit. She buys like Japanese stuff and Lego sets from various Disney movies. I bought her the Carl and Ellie house for her birthday, but I built that for her because she doesn't like building it. But she does collect a little bit, but I'm the big collector. Probably my family tree, to be honest.
And
Like,
in regards to collecting, would you consider yourself obsessive, compulsive, budgeted, under control, out of control?
yes. It's kind of all that, to be honest. There's times where I'll go a full week with a new figure coming every single day. There'll be a week where there's like one just or like none at all, or be a week where it's like one here, one 3 days later, one 3 days later. And then there'll be time where I have a convention next Saturday, so it's probably gonna be like just a giant stack full, maybe, I don't know, but it's basically all that.
I kind of go in waves in buying such. I just seem to fall head over heels over something and just to an excess buy. And then I
Mhm.
kind of hit a peak and all of a sudden it tapers off. I've made this comment before about the postman who delivers most of the stuff, which comes via the post office. He'll kind of jokingly complain about having to turn the wagon off and get out and bring something up to the front door. But there's been times where I carried in stacks into the house of
Yeah,
boxes.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just too much at one time. And it almost gets to the point after a while, like you go, oh my God, I got to unbox all this stuff again tonight. And it's like, okay, Jim, get a hold of yourself. Stop buying stuff.
Yeah, I do that to myself sometimes. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and be like, good Lord, just look at this. Look at all this stuff. But I don't know. It's just really fun. I really enjoy it. I like talking about it. Whenever I talk to my friends, I'm like, this is great. I can tell you what each single joint does on a figure. Like I'm that obsessive. It's just fun. I don't know. It's kind of like just crazy to me, to be honest. Because, like I said, I'll go a whole week with a new figure coming every day, and then I mean, there was a time where for a full month, it was a figure every single day for a month. It gets crazy.
So along those same lines, who sees your collection?
Uh, my family, because they come in my room all the time. My dog, I guess. I post it on my Instagram, and a lot of people on there will see it. Pretty much everybody, all my friends will see it. I did a short film, and my collection was in it, and compliments just out the wazoo. Everybody, wow, look at that, it's amazing. How much is all that worth? I'm like, at least 15K, and they go, oh wow, that's amazing. You should sell it. I'm like, huh, no.
Yeah, it's interesting that the answer to that question usually involves, as you already mentioned, my immediate family, maybe a few friends, but beyond that, it might be the gas meter man or the telephone guy who came into the house to fix something. And so it's very uh, I don't want to say it's a private collection, but it's typically not something that a lot of collectors. It's not a worldwide open museum kind of thing. It's a very private, kind of personal collection.
Like
That,
your
that
own museum.
Exactly. And the other thing is, as you already mentioned, it is one of the questions that non-collectors always seem to ask is, how much do you think that's worth? It's
Probably
like they
about 15.
have no idea.
Yeah.
I think I increased. I bought a collector's insurance policy and have increased the amount on the collection 3 times now. And the last time I think it was $45,000, which just makes me think, what a fool, Jim. You're spending that kind of money. But at the
If
same
you're happy, it doesn't
time,
matter.
the cost on the policy wasn't that expensive. And the main reason for it is I don't consider the stuff I had to be that valuable. But collectively, everything together adds up to something. And should something drastic happen where I lose it all, I'd like to have some kind of protection or reimbursement there, which kind of brings me to the question of, I wonder if anybody's ever had to file a claim with any of these collector insurance companies, just how forthcoming they actually are. But hopefully I don't ever have to worry about that. Those, aside from your family and your friends, those that do happen to see it, whether it be the gas meter man or the telephone guy, what do they typically say about your collection?
It's usually a jaw drop. Like 80% of the time. When I did the short film in school with that, everybody just like, whoa, this type of thing. I didn't know like you had all that. And then I did a Star Wars short film with my boss and a coworker because they wanted to play a Jedi and a Sith, and I was like, oh yeah, let's do this. It'd be great. And they came here to meet up, and it just immediately, as soon as they got in there, they were like, whoa, just this is what you do in your spare time. Because they'll bring me out to when I buy a figure, but I guess they hadn't realized it was this big. There's like, oh, it's probably just a little bookshelf. It's multiple. So yeah, I mean, my friend Eric has a bigger collection than me. I got him into collecting not even that long ago, which is kind of funny. He started collecting, I want to say, like in 2020, like
Wow.
basically after I did. And I got him into Star Wars and everything. He was mostly collecting horror. That's how he started, and then he did Star Wars, and they got so insane. He's got a much bigger collection than me, but I like mine better.
mention to him, he might be interested in doing an interview.
He might. It's really big.
No problem.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'll probably talk to him about that.
And do you have like a favorite item or maybe even like a showcase item when somebody comes to see the collection? It's like, well, I have to show you this. What is the this?
I knew this question was coming. Like the favorite questions. Those are always the toughest. I guess for me, it would probably be like the Clone Wars shelf or my main shelf back there where my favorites are. But also could be my bookshelf right there, the black one, because on top of it I have the original trilogy fights, and I have this one display of Luke and Vader fighting on Bespin, and it has this little Bespin display, and that's probably my favorite one to point out.
The Bespin display one. All right. We'll make sure we have a picture or video of that so we can put that while we're talking about that one as well. And, you talked about being a big Star Wars fan. You grew up with it. Do you have a favorite movie or even at this point, like a favorite series, TV show on Disney Plus?
Yes, so Empire's always been my favorite. Um, I love watching that movie so much. The fight with Vader and Luke and Bespin is probably my favorite scene of all time. Like the way they fight, just great. In terms of this TV show, this one was tough. For a while it was Bad Batch season 1. I loved it. That's kind of what spiraled the Bad Batch collection and stuff. But I guess I would probably say Andor. I loved Andor. I thought it was great.
Are you excited about this new series that's coming out, The Acolyte?
I'm curious about it. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
Okay.
Curious is a good word. Curious is a good word because I watched the previews and I don't see, other than people being Star Wars-ish, I don't see a connection there. But then again, we've gotten so far away from the original New Hope concept that the stories evolve into many different things. So, but I just don't see the Star Wars connection in the Acolyte. But I am eagerly looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm curious about it too. I don't really have too much excitement for it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll definitely watch when it comes out. I'm excited for Andor season 2.
Yes,
That's what I'm
definitely.
really excited
Yeah,
for. Yeah,
I have rewatched Andor season 1 3 times now, and I
I
pick
did
up
too.
stuff
Yeah,
that I missed it every time. I really like Diego Luna, or Luna Diego, whichever it happens to be.
yeah, Diego Luna.
Yeah, I like him a lot, and he does the character real well. And it's all over the place. It's Star Wars-ish, and they're going here and going there, and it's kind of like a big adventure every episode.
That's what I love about it. My friend Eddie does not like it whatsoever. He thought it was really boring. I'm like, you don't know cinema. But yeah, I'm excited for season 2. I did like Mando season 2. I thought that was a good one too.
Yeah.
Took me a little bit to get into the Mandalorian. The little fella,
Grogu.
Rogu, is cute and
Yeah.
all that. I understand the connection, but it was a little bit of a departure. But and the one I really wasn't able to get into was Boba Fett. It was just, I don't know. At points seemed so slow and draggy. Um,
It
um,
was I really enjoyed it, but not I enjoyed it unironically. Like it's just pure schlock in that show. Just dumb stuff in there, and I'm like, this is fun. Like nothing makes sense, but I love it.
but
Alex, I have
That's kind of how I see it.
another YouTube channel. I call that one Jack in the Box. And one of the things that I do is I interview actors that were in the original Star Wars movies. A lot of these guys are British guys because, as you said, it was filmed in London. They're all in their 70s now, but they kind of
Yeah, it
talk
was
about
from
their
London. Yeah.
experience being on the set and whatnot. But I actually had a chance to talk to the body double of Boba Fett in the book of Boba Fett. And so I'll send that a
Oh,
link for that
nice.
to you. And if you want, and he kind of talks about some of the behind the scenes type of things that happen in the book of Boba Fett. I think you'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch that for sure. I
All right,
mean, I am in this film industry because I want to work at Lucasfilm. That's my dream.
that's a great dream.
that'd be under
Thank you.
Disney's thumb now. So,
Yeah.
but that's a
I mean,
whole
I like Disney in
story.
general, anyways. I go to the parks very, very, very often. It's probably about as obsessive as my collection. I've gone like I think I don't know 16 times at this point.
Wow.
I haven't been to Disneyland in over 16 years.
Might be
I'm
time
going
to go
back
back,
in
Jim.
I'm going back in August again.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
And I'm just down the
Yeah.
road from Anaheim. My final two questions for you. In addition to your favorite item and your favorite movie or series, do you have a favorite character?
Is yeah, Jango Fett.
Jenga. You'd mentioned Django
Yeah,
earlier. I didn't know if maybe Dooku was going to slide in there, but Django Fett. Why
Jango Fett and
Django?
Palpatine.
Oh, and Palpatine.
Jango Fett. Yeah, Jango Fett. I like because growing up, Boba Fett was always the favorite of everybody. They like the green, and I thought, that's cool. But I liked silver more. I like the silver chrome finish. I like the blue on him. I think he's cool. I like the dual wielding pistols more. I think that's much cooler than the just the rifle to me. I like the whole color scheme, and I like that he was like the original to me. That's why I like him so much. And his video game is really fun. He has his own video game, but it's really old and it's very janky. I call him Janky Django when I play that game, which is also kind of where my name from Instagram came from, was from that. And I just really like his character in general. I think he's a great character. I mean, he's not in much, sadly, but I still like him a lot.
Sure. Yeah, great
My
character.
my final question for you is, from a collecting standpoint or a collector's standpoint, what advice would you pass along to current or future collectors?
It would be just be patient on a lot of things. Like it'll come eventually. I was impatient, but then I eventually learned it from Yoda. Um, it was just kind of like just wait on things. It'll go up, it'll go down in price, it'll be in stock, it won't be, but if you just wait long enough, it'll come back. Like that's how I was kind of am right now because I never got a chance to get a Captain Rex figure. But they're re-releasing him. And I'm like, thank God I didn't spend like 80, $100 when I could just go and spend 25 in a couple months.
Second time around always works out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's just kind of just wait around a little bit. You can do searching as well, like do search a couple times. I guarantee you'll probably find something that's you've been eyeing for a while and it's low priced. Um, and also ask around too. Like ask people like other like stores and friends, like, hey, do you know if you have this, or do you know if maybe you're selling this or something like that. It's just kind of like all about connections, really, and patience too.
Very cool. Very cool. Fantastic. Great collection. Good
Thank
information.
you.
Jack, do you have any other questions?
Well, I did want to mention that Alex had said that his favorite Batman was the Val Kilmer
Yeah,
Batman. And I also
yeah.
wanted to mention there was a connection with Val Kilmer and Elvis Presley because
So
Val Kilmer played Elvis Presley in True
yes,
Romance.
I'm actually glad you mentioned that. My short film is based on that scene from True Romance where he played Elvis in that. And we shot it kind of similar where you don't see my face, you just see the body and you see what I'm wearing. That's where I got the idea for that short film was he played him in that and I thought this is a great scene. I kind of want to do something based on that. So we did something like that too in my short film.
That's awesome. I can already kind of see it. You obviously doing the voice. The glasses are on. You're not seeing like you a straight on shot of you, but the presence is there.
You can
Elvis
kind of see
presence.
me in like a mirror
Right.
shot. But yeah, because we did in the bathroom. And we had to do a lot of tricks so we don't see the camera or my co-director Eddie holding the camera and stuff. So I mean, it was fun to make and stuff, and I thought my actors did a great job on it.
And where would we see that? Is there like an IG link if we go to your Instagram page? Is there a link that we
Not
can see
yet.
that video?
It'll be uploaded soon, like once it's
Oh, it's not
officially
even out
done.
yet. Okay, we're kind of getting a preview of it
My
now.
friends
Okay.
have seen it because they have to see it, but yeah,
Right.
The
it'll
magic
be.
of movie making is so inspirational, so
It's
exciting.
fun and it's also really stressful because it's like because I guess I can officially call myself a director, which is really nice. I'm like, yeah, but it's like you have to plan so much stuff, sets, the actors, their timing and availability, the shots, the listings, like shot listing. We should say like, oh, we're gonna have cameras here, 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 stuff like lights. It's all like it's fun, but it's also stressful. It's just like, oh boy, you just got to plan everything. It's all about timing too. It's like if you're gonna record someone hitting their lightsabers, you better make sure when they hit, no, none of them fly out. Because that happened when we were doing our Star Wars short film. Is one of my friends was swinging the saber and it just kind of flew out. It was so funny though.
You didn't want that type of force.
Not that one.
I have always had an interest in Hollywood. As a little kid, my dad would offer us incentives to get good grades on our report cards, and I remember models or Hot Wheels or Matchboxes would be some of the incentives. One time, he took me flying in a airplane if I got a good grade. There was another time where he took me to Universal Studios, and
Yeah,
this
I've gone there too.
the 60s. And one of the things that they did was they would pluck people out of the audience to film a short version. And the thing that they were filming that day was an old Adam 12 episode. And so my dad was one of the two policemen sitting in the car. It was just fun to see the camera sitting in front of the car with a movie screen behind it and a background running, and then someone up on the front hood kind of pushing it up and down like this, I
No, that's
got
pretty
so
cool.
inspired. I came home, and if not that day, the next day, I was standing in my mom and dad's room looking out the window, of which I'd gone out and run the sprinkler up onto the roof and turned it on so that the water was coming over the roof. And as I looked out the window, there I'd made rain.
No, that's cool. Yeah, filmmaking's fun.
It
It's
is.
I prefer directing more than acting, honestly. I'd rather tell people what to do than kind of, I think it's more
Very
fun.
cool. All right,
When
we're going to wrap this up, but I appreciate all the conversation. This has been great. Alex, we will need your Instagram account so we can put that link in the description. If
Yep.
you're a viewer, go ahead and go to that description, look at the link, click on it, check out Alex's stuff, everything going on there. Also, I'll remind everyone to go ahead and subscribe and like to our channel. That's a great way to get the algorithm out there and get more people, like-minded people, to watch all of this. Alex, again, thank you so much for sharing your collection. Jim, great interview. I really enjoyed being here with everybody. We'll see you out there in the Toyverse, I'm sure.
Thank you for having me. Bye, everybody.